It's the Sean Widmer Podcast. It's a journal by someone that just really doesn't like to write.
Back-to-back days with a podcast, you lucky ducks. You lucky dogs. I know that's what you were wanting, just more. Just more. Okay, let's slowly get into this. My brain's going a million miles per hour right now. We'll get into why that is with Kelly's What Are You Into? Some news for me that I want to address. Excited, scared, excited again. We'll get into that. And we'll also talk about something that came through my house that was interesting, to say the least. I forgot to give a shout out to an app that let me down over the weekend. We'll talk about that a little bit. And Easter Brachs. I don't know how you say it. B-R-A-C-H-S. Little candy talk. Brachs. You are in timeout. You're in timeout. So all of that's coming up on the podcast today. I mentioned back-to-back days. I'm learning as we try to grow the podcast, and there was like a quick push when we started doing the YouTube stuff, which if you can take some time, go to the YouTube channel, subscribe. What is my YouTube channel? Is it Bommarooski? Is it Bommarooski? What's my YouTube? Let's see here. If I go to youtube.com, there probably is going to be something that plays here in a second. Let me see. Is it Bommarooski? Yeah, it is. Bommarooski. Run the Bommarooski. So you can go check that out, youtube.com/Bommarooski. We started doing the video stuff, and for a second, there was a push and like a little influx in the pod, and then people didn't like that, and I probably went a little too far with me pushing content on people because I'm spamming the internet with Reels and TikToks. And that might not be the play, because all I'm doing is just losing followers and making people mad. So if you're still hanging out, listening to the podcast, I appreciate you a whole lot. Hopefully we can get some fun today. There's a lot of strategy that I'm not equipped with in terms of growing the podcast. One, the content has to be good. So we still got to figure that out. Two, I don't want to just bombard everyone with stuff, but I don't know. This is how we're doing it. I like making these things. I hope you like listening to them, and I'm going to keep hitting you over the head with these. And for those of you who stick around for it, thank you so much. Okay, what is on my screen right now? Okay, let's get into this stuff today. Let's get into this. I want to get into Kelly's What Are You Into, but we got to work through this slowly and surely. We had it happen. We had it happen over the weekend. The stomach bug hit, and it came through and ravaged our group. Holy smokes. It came in and just went knockout punch across the board. All the kids in the family, all the kids in the schools and neighborhoods, just everyone that we have interacted with in Lexington got the stomach bug. And we had never had the stomach bug come through our house before. So you hear tales about it, and then it comes through and you're like, oh my gosh, what is happening right now? So I had my first ever actual I was up all night moment. I think I've said it a lot. I mean, I've got Olivia, we've got Huck. They were both babies for a while. I know for a fact I've said to coworkers or loved ones or non-loved ones, random people at the store when you're sleep deprived, just talking out loud in the aisle. I'm sure I've said, man, I was up all night last night with Huck. Man, I was up all night last night with Olivia. I probably said it on this podcast. And when I said it, what I meant was I was up the majority of the night. But I probably snuck in, 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, a 2-hour chunk of sleep, and then was up with a little bit with whatever it might have been, some kind of sickness, not sleeping well for another hour and a half, and then maybe got another hour and a half of sleep. And so it is pretty much, it feels like you're up all night, but you do whittle in maybe 3 to 4 hours of sleep over the course of the time the kid goes to bed and it's time to wake up. But it's not enough. It's not enough sleep. I'm not saying that. I'm not coming at it to say like you actually weren't up all night. I'm just saying you're actually, you do get a little bit of rest. That doesn't really work the next day. And I bring all this up to say I had my first ever I was up all night with Huckman. All night. And I got caught up on some TV shows. It was when I watched Survivor over the weekend. Michael, I apologize that I forgot to do Survivor coverage on Monday. That's on me. It will be back on Friday. I apologize for that because I loved last week's episode. I watched some basketball because it's on late here. I watched a baseball game because it was on late here. But Huck, at about 9 o'clock over the weekend, he pukes in his bed. And all the spaghetti that he had is now in his lap. And it led to him all night, every 30 minutes, puking. And it was all dry heaves after the first one. So he got the big chunks out, and then he was just trying to get liquids up, and he's dry heaving. And it was that wonderful opportunity to remind myself, this is why I really need to stick to Wild Cherry Pepsi on weekends when I'm out with the boys, because Huck have been there. That's a bad feeling. That's a real bad feeling. So I'm sitting there, I'm seeing him. He looks like how I've felt before, and your head starts to feel pain, and you're just like, why is nothing coming out? I mean, come on, right? We've been there. And I just felt so bad for the guy. But it was all night, rubbing his back. Oh, he just looked cute and pitiful and sad and sick. And it was just, that you feel for this little guy. So I was up the entire night, didn't sleep at all. I was also terrified because I didn't want him to throw up on everything. So when they're not feeling good or they're not sleeping well, I can find myself getting a little 20 minutes, 30 minutes here or there. When it's throw up, I don't want to go to sleep because I want to have the bucket at the ready so we're not cleaning stuff up. So Huck had it one night, and then we thought Olivia had avoided it. 2 nights later, it hit our daughter. And a 4-year-old's throw up is different than a 2-year-old's throw up. She didn't throw up throughout the night. She just had one that made us throw away sheets. My wife she's a saint. I mean, she's pregnant. She's already not sleeping well. You throw this in. My wife is very much a clean freak. This was about as bad of a situation as you can get. The house getting dirty. I'm trying to help as much as I can, but my wife's like, you're clean, and the way you're trying to clean this up isn't what I need right now. So I need you to be, she kept reminding me, just be with the kids. Be with the kids. Get the bucket under them as much as you can. That's your job. I'm going to be on permanent laundry duty. My wife did more laundry this week than you should ever do in a washing machine. I think we went through one washing machine. Everything. Every blanket, every towel, everything. Huck was just throwing up on everything over that night because we're trying to keep stuff underneath him. And then my daughter, we just we had to give up on her bed. She like ruined her bedding. So I was laughing. I looked in the garbage. I was taking the garbage out, and I grabbed one of the bags, and it was a little heavier. And my wife goes, "That's Olivia's sheets." I couldn't get it out. Washed them 3 times. She got after it. So it hit. We hadn't had that before. So we've now lived through it. And that's the worst thing. That is just dreadful. So shout out to everybody who is getting through it right now. I guess it's running through Lexington, and we are hopefully through it. And it was a bummer because it ruined our spring break. We were going to head to Cincinnati to kick this week off and do some things and stay at a hotel and do like the swimming in an indoor pool, which my daughter would go nuts for, go to a zoo up there and just kind of hang out. That didn't happen because, well, we've been here dealing with that. We've had some fun days here. Just obviously it's not as fun as getting out with the kids. So the flu hit, or not the flu, the stomach bug hit, and boy, oh boy. That sound. And in fact, it led to my wife getting me with an April Fool's last night. Olivia had asked for Anna to come in and just kind of lay. She was dealing with some scared of the dark or something like that. What a chicken. She was dealing with something where she was a little scared. So I was hoping she'd pick me, but she picked Mom to go in, lay down. And while my wife was laying with my daughter, I was downstairs being completely lazy, getting our TV ready to watch. Anna had not watched Survivor yet, so I was getting it ready to watch. And she texted and said, Huck just threw up. And I sprinted up the stairs so fast, probably could have hurt myself. Thanks, Anna. Probably could have hurt myself. But because I'm an elite athlete, I was able to maneuver our stairs in the dark, avoiding any cars that might have been left there, and ran in. And right before I got into Huck's room, I realized it was closed, the lights were off, and I just heard a little giggle out of my daughter's bed. Just a little giggle. April Fools. And I thought, that's not the one. Using our nightmare against us, it's not the one. Okay, let's do a quick shout out to an app that I used to love. I promoted on this podcast. I think it was my Kelly's What Are You Into? But we need to change something on this. It's the app Waze. Waze is a navigational app I love using because I think it does a good job with a couple things. One, it keeps track of how far you've driven, and it gives you points. It gives you points depending on how much you drive. Then also, if you relay, oh, there's an accident here, because you can do this on the app. You can let them know there's an accident here. There's debris on the road. The important one for a drive, there's police officers here. That was huge for me a couple times in the drive back from Detroit. It has all these options, and I love the scoreboard. But Waze, one of the best things about driving a long distance is typing in the destination and seeing how long it takes from where you are in your car to start the trip off till you get home. And I need that number, Waze, to be based on what the speed limit is and how long it is to get to my destination. I want it to be, if you are driving the perfect speed the whole way, this is what it's going to take. And I think Waze adjusts that time based on your speed. And so you never really get this good feeling of making up time, because when you are doing it the other way and it says, oh, if you're driving 70 miles per hour the whole way, it's going to take you, let's say, 5 hours. You know, when you maybe hit on accident 79, 78, 82, when you hit that, you should be able to look down and see on the ETA that number dropping. And it's like, I'm beating time. I am a time traveler. I'm Marty McFly. But I think Waze is already calculating that with how fast you drive. And so if anything, you start to lose time, because maybe you're driving a little bit faster than you normally would. And you go, maybe I need to not be in the 80s. I need to be in the 70s. So you bring it back down, you look, and your ETA is now longer. And it's like, that's not the game. So Waze, we need to take that out. I believe that's what's happening behind the scenes in your app, and I don't like it. I don't like it a lot. But I do like something less than that. And so Waze, you're kind of off the hook because something has happened that's way worse than you guys messing around with my traveling. And it's from Brach's candy. Let me go to their website real quick, because they've done a disservice. I'm a big candy guy, and they've done a disservice to a great candy. If I go to their candy line, right now it's a lot of spring stuff. I want to see what they're promoting. Brach's is promoting classic jelly beans and spiced jelly beans. Stick with those. Those are great, Brach's. Let's see what else they have on their product line. I just wanted to see their products. Do Brach's not make just regular old candies? Because on their products it says you can do Easter, Halloween, holiday, or Valentine's. Doesn't Brach's just make normal candy? Okay, that's their website. What if I go to Brach's Wikipedia? Because the fact that their website just has all of the holiday stuff is concerning. They make Starbright Mints, Caramel Royals, Lemon Drops. I do like lemon drops. Spice Drops, and Maple Nut Goodies. All right, so maybe we do need to go back to the holiday stuff. They're responsible for candy corn. They're responsible for, during Christmas, they've got some heavy hitters. They've got a bunch of the candy canes that I like. They have got the swirly gumdrops that are good. I believe they make those taffies we had talked about during Christmas time, the Christmas nougat. That stuff's great. Brach's has a good lineup of stuff. I appreciate their candies for the most part. I like their candy corn more than other candy corns. They make another Halloween candy that I dig. I'm trying to find it to remind myself what it is. I don't see it here. So maybe they don't. I thought they made one other Halloween candy. Anyways, Brach's, you have done a good job in the candy scene. Why did you have to do this to me over the weekend? My parents sent a nice little goodie bag for the family, and it included a lot of cool Easter stuff for the kids, some books for the kids. My mom doing her part, knowing that I have bought, basketball books and easy to read Dungeons and Dragons books for my kids. My mom makes sure on Easter to send about 15 Bible books. Thank you, Mom. Thank you for that. It doesn't go. I know what you're doing. Thank you. And so they got this package with that, and then my mom sent a bunch of candy. And in there, she sent something that she and I love, and I loved it. It was a nice little nod. It might have been for my kids. I assumed it was for me, Mom. But it was the circus peanuts. And Brach's, I think they make circus peanuts. I think. Let me look up circus peanuts. I know they make. Okay, well, let me make sure. Let me make sure before I get out here and I get crazy about circus peanuts. I believe they make a brand of circus peanuts, because there is multiple people that make circus peanuts. But I believe one of the people that makes circus peanuts is Brach's. And maybe I'm wrong about that. But They make a candy during Easter that is called Bunnies and Chicks, and it is colored circus peanuts. Now, circus peanuts are a spectacular candy, and Brach's coming out here during Easter and giving that candy a bad name is disrespectful and alarming. All right, circus peanuts are one of the oldest candies. They're one of the original penny candies. They are the candy that led to the invention of Lucky Charms. Enough said. This is a legendary candy, and I love them. I love the texture of them. I know some people don't. I love the texture of them. I also love they're banana flavored, and people maybe don't know what the flavoring is. I know they're orange, but they're banana flavored, and I love a good banana flavored candy. Circus peanuts, Laffy Taffy, banana Laffy Taffies, I'd be good on those. I could live on those for a while. But what Brach's did is they came out, they said, look, circus peanuts get a bad name. People dislike circus peanuts year round. So we're going to make circus peanuts in the shape of bunnies and chicks. And maybe people will be able to get these and they'll get over that fact that it just looks like a peanut, an orange peanut, and they'll see these colors and these shapes and they'll give them a try and they'll realize how good circus peanuts are. But what did Brach's do? Brach's decided to go and flavor their circus peanuts to taste like a butt. They are dreadfully bad. I can eat almost any candy. This was one of the very first times I threw the candy away. Sorry, Mom. I kept the books. Don't worry, I kept the Easter books. But I threw the candy away. I had 4 pieces. I wanted to love it. Circus peanuts are one of my favorite candy, but this is such a disservice. I wanted to go to stores and just throw all of them away, but I was too late. Easter had happened. So now I know that Brach's has gone out there. They've thrown all these circus peanuts into people's houses. Everyone's going to taste them. These taste like butt. And now everyone's going to, for another 365 days, go, how do you like circus peanuts? They're so bad. Well, not those pieces of trash. Brach's, come on. You owe it to the circus peanut community to make this right. You've got to put out some kind of formal apology about making these ones that tasted like acid. And you've got to come out with just a bag of circus peanuts and say, look, everyone who bought the Easter ones, we apologize. Here's what circus peanuts are supposed to taste like, and just give them out at grocery stores. What a sad day for the circus peanut community to know that Brach's came and just dumped on us with some really bad Easter candies. I mentioned it on a podcast last week. Easter candy, they just do not do it as well as Halloween candy or as good as Christmas candy, obviously. Christmas everything's the best. Can we get into this finally?
Kelly's, what are you into?
Now all I can think about is the fact, I can't go do this right now. It's 11:22 at night. My daughter has her big bag of Easter candy. My daughter has her big bag of Easter candy, and we haven't let her dive into it a lot because she threw up all over the place, and we're kind of waiting for the stomach bug to be all the way gone. And so now we're halfway through the week, so I think it's about time she could try it. But I know she's got some good stuff in there, including Haribo's. I think it's bunnies and carrot-shaped gummies. Oh my gosh. I know they're upstairs. And I know my daughter knows, so I can't just go in and eat all of them because she knows they're in there. So we've got, there can be some explaining to do tomorrow when she wonders where they went. I just don't know that they're long for this house. Kelly's, what are you into? Thank you, Kelly, for wanting to be part of the show. I still have to reach out to you. I apologize that I haven't yet. Kelly wants to sponsor. Let's just be full disclosure. Kelly wants to sponsor the podcast, and I'd love it if she did. She and her husband have reached out, and they maybe want to sponsor the podcast. Kelly, there's like 1,000 people that listen. So, what is that? We're trying to grow the podcast, right? I want there to be a lot more than that, but that's where we're at right now. There you go. There's the numbers for you, for everyone who always wondered. People keep things secret. I don't know why we do, but that's the number. What's that worth to you? I don't want to rip you off. My main thing is I'm bad at that because I'm not a negotiator. I like friends. I like having people who listen. I don't want Kelly to ever stop listening. So there you go. Okay. Kelly's, what are you into? College basketball. And today's been a hectic day. And it all started because Washington State loses their head coach, who was an absolute stud. They lose Kyle Smith to Stanford. He's going to go crush it down there. Why did I have a heart? I just said Kyle Smith, and then I immediately was like, did I say his name right? It's Kyle Smith. Yeah, it's Kyle Smith. I had like a big moment where I thought, did I just say a football coach for Arizona or something? My brain went wild because of what's coming up. So Kyle Smith vacates WSU. Washington State needs a coach. They're obviously going to be, there's no Pac-12 next year. They're playing in the WCC. There's a lot of flux. It's kind of chaos in Pullman with this. I believe there is. I know that you'll probably see Kook fans who are like, no, everything's fine. It's not. It's absolutely not fine. Chaos. And so they need to find a coach. So I wake up this morning, and there's a couple guys in the coaching community that I would consider to be friends, a little more than acquaintances. One of those guys is Matt Logie, who coached basketball at Whitworth University in Spokane, and then went down to California. And then classic, he goes down to California, and then just like every other Californian, he moves back up to the Pacific Northwest, moves to Montana. Come on, Matt. You and everyone else. And he goes to Montana State, and he crushes it this year. They make the NCAA tournament. Doggone it, losing Dayton to Colorado. But it was, not to Colorado. Was it to Colorado? Why can't... Hey, Matt, I don't even remember anything about you. Who are you? Anyways, Matt goes and obviously is going to get approached for the Washington State job. Well, I guess obviously is not the case, but he's going to get approached for it because he's a really good coach. There's a fun stat with him where he has made it to the postseason in Division III, Division II, and Division I, which is really cool in a short span of time. And he gets approached by Washington State, and the stories came out today. There's a lot of stuff from the Spokesman Review back in Spokane that he said no to the job. And I had text with him today and just wanted to see what was going on. And he had just said, timing wasn't right for the fam. So I'm like, yeah, I respect that. He's also in Montana, in beautiful Montana with the rest of the Californians, just living it up. And I don't really blame him to not jump ship to Washington State where you don't know what's going to happen there, right? You just don't know. You don't know who's going to stay with the transfer portal. You don't know what you're getting into. You're going to be in the WCC for 2 seasons. Then you don't know what's after that. Like, that's a really weird question mark on that. And so Matt Logie's not going to take the job. That's what the story looks like. Well, then the wheels start spinning. I'm like, uh-oh. I know who's next. I think we had mentioned it on the podcast even last week. David Riley, Peaceful Valley's very own David Riley, the guy, lit me up for about 7,000 points in City League games. Thanks a lot, David. Didn't need that. But great coach at Eastern Washington. And sure enough, it looks like he's taking the job. And so the reports right before I recorded look like he's going to be going down to Pullman. David, good luck. David, if you take the entire freaking Eastern basketball team with you and you just transfer portal them all, well, I'm going to be real hurt. I know that's what you worry about. I'm very worried because he's going to get that job. I'm super excited for David. He deserves to start moving up. He's going to be a really good college basketball coach. He already is, but he's just going to continue to be a great coach every level that he goes up. I'm excited to follow his coaching career. I just hate that it's probably going to lead to Eastern, who is really good this season, losing all their guys to Washington State. That will be interesting to see. And anytime a coach leaves, players leave and they get in the portal and they go other places, which is why right now, Eastern Washington, Tim Collins, athletic director at Eastern, do the right thing. Hire Rob Sacre. Hire Rob Sacre. Do it right now. Do it right now. It's 8:28 in Cheney, Washington right now. Call Rob right now. Tim, if you need his number, text me. I'll conference call. I'll conference call you guys in. We can do a Zoom. Hire Rob right now. Just did a great job at North Central. I know he's interested in the coaching world, and I know he doesn't have a lot of experience. But man, where Eastern Athletics is right now, the shape of college basketball right now, Rob would be a good hire. Rob would be a good hire. I'm going to put my guy's name in, and I'm putting my name behind my guy. I would be a big supporter of Rob going to Eastern. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? He sucks for 2 years and you fire him? Then what, Rob? Then I'm going to make fun of you about that forever. So it's really a win-win for me. I just think if you get Rob in there, he's going to be great at it. I think he's going to be great at it. He proved this year at a high school level with a bunch of guys who who had a lot of talent, but it didn't seem like maybe that's where it ended. A bunch of talent, and maybe the team wasn't all on the same page. He proved that he can get the job done. I know it's a high school. College is a different game. The other thing with Rob is, man, if you've ever met Rob Sacre, and Rob Sacre, one of my very good friends, I guess I should give some background on him, played basketball at Gonzaga, then played for the Lakers, then was a Sun Rocker over in Japan, where he had one of the worst dunk contests of all time. Google that. And just just a great buddy of mine. I love Rob. So obviously this is very biased. But you get Rob Sacre into a house of a recruit. There's very few people in my entire life that I've met, that I've interacted with, and a lot of people who are great people. There's very few who have as much charisma as that man. And a guy who just speaks honestly about things, whether it's what you want to hear or not. And he is the ultimate lover. He is the ultimate lover. No, but he is. That dude has a big heart. And if I was a parent with a kid who was going to be at that Eastern level, that's a guy you'd want to have. You want to have him with your kid. You'd want to have him overseeing the growth of your kid, maturity, like just from a maturity standpoint of growing up and also getting good at basketball. Because Rob's seen a lot and he's done a lot. And Rob now is an adult and able to look back and go, you know what? I could probably help pave the way for some kids who don't make same choices I make. I'm just being honest, Robert. You would do the same. So Eastern, do the right thing. Go hire Rob. Okay. That's my killers. What are you into? Is my buddy Rob. I love him. And there's just a lot of exciting stuff today. Excited for David Riley to go to Pullman. Excited for Matt Logie to not take a job in WSU. I told him today he needs to come out here and take Cal's job. If Kentucky lets him go, that'd be cool. I could use some friends out here from the West. Although I don't want to start the Californians moving out here. I know you're not from California, Matt, but you were there for a while. Let's look at some comments, shall we? Yvonne says this. We're not have a lot of comments because the podcast was up for one day. She says, Calvin watches the challenge. There are a couple Arby's when we're going to Everett. I like breakfast for dinner sometimes. First of all, Calvin is making the right move. The challenge is so good. Arby's, also so good. We've covered it a lot. Horsey sauce, best sauce of any fast food restaurant. And then breakfast for dinner, sometimes. I'm with you. Pancakes are really good. I just really like pancakes. No other comments, I don't think. I don't think there's anything off of the website, seanslife.com, where you can go and you can comment there. If you want to have your comments read at the end of the podcast, you can go to Spotify, comment there, or go to the YouTube. youtube.com/Bommarooski. Subscribe, like, comment. We read the comments off that as well. All right. Thanks for listening. Appreciate you guys and girls and kids and everyone. This is politics. That's politics.